on behalf of Ithaca City of Asylum, welcome to our 2008 celebration of Voices of Freedom. What we celebrate today is freedom of speech, and in particular, the uncensored production and circulation of literary works. As writers and readers in a fortunate land, we are especially concerned about freedom for all others who produce the literature of our times, the fiction, poetry, drama, and essays that illuminate the human condition and connect us to each other. Writing is an intense and private endeavor with the potential to reach an uncountable number of people who are eager or in need of that gift. The number is uncountable because some of them have not been born yet. The gift of literature is a permanent one, passed along from one age to another. The voices of creative writers nourish the human spirit in good times and in bad. They help to build community, understanding, and the capacity to imagine and pursue change. They also ensure that the historical record of our times reflects the condition and judgment of a broad spectrum of the people who inhabit these times. We hold this event each year during Banned Books Week to call attention to the importance of the literary voice and the threats to which it is routinely and repeatedly exposed in countries around the globe. On a table in the reception room, you will find a brochure prepared by one of our partner organizations, the Cornell University Libraries, listing some of the books that were once pulled from the shelves or prohibited from publication by intolerant censors in our own country. I think you may be surprised to see what was once considered unfit for your eyes, though we know all too well that efforts to suppress contemporary literature persist in our own time. Banning books is one very effective way to inhibit the circulation of objectionable views. But in many parts of the world, writers themselves are the targets of oppression, imprisonment, and even death. Ithaca City of Asylum is an organization dedicated to preserving the voices of those who create the literature of our times and who are prevented from working or even living safely in their countries of origin. We're a small organization, and we serve this goal one writer at a time. We have some steady collaborators in this work. Ithaca City of Asylum is a project sponsored by the Center for Transformative Action, formerly known as CRESP. It is a town gown project with support from Cornell, Ithaca College, and our new partner, Wells College, and from community-based foundations. We are grateful for this continuing institutional support, as well as for the generous donations of many individuals throughout the year. Many of you are in that number. And collectively, you enable us to truly be a city of asylum. Finally, each year, as we listen to the proclamation of the Mayor of Ithaca, we are reminded of how good it is to live in this most enlightened city of America. We have much to share with others less fortunate and much to learn from them. For our event today, we are especially grateful to the Community Arts Partnership of Tompkins County and the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program for a grant of public funds. We are also grateful to Snow Lion Press and Cornell University Press and to an impressive number of local authors for the donation of books that you will have a chance to win at the reception following today's event. And we're grateful to the Ithaca Coffee Company and Tops Market for refreshments. Finally, as chair, I want to recognize the contributions of all members of the Ithaca City of Asylum Advisory Board. We are an active working board, and the organization could not survive without the willingness of its members to roll up their sleeves, sometimes literally, and perform the many tasks that make an event like this happen. Above all, we owe thanks today to the Herculean organizing activities of our Voices of Freedom coordinator, Brian Dashew, who you'll hear later today, sitting here in the front row, who I'm sure never anticipated a tenth of the calls and emails he'd be making in the last couple months. Second, if you're here today, it's probably because you've seen one or more pieces of the excellent press coverage for this event orchestrated by Holly Bailey and her publicity committee, or one of the gorgeous posters designed and produced by Kenny Berkowitz. Jami Carlacio, who chairs our Program and Family Support Committee, worked with Irakli and Kenny to produce the CDs, which you will have an opportunity to purchase during the reception. There are others behind the scenes who write the grant applications and the final reports and the letters to our supporters, reminding them that we still need their assistance to carry on events like this, as well as the basic support of the writers in exile that we host. It is a great privilege to work with such a dedicated, multi-talented group, and I'm continually amazed at all we accomplish together. Please help me thank them all. Today, we introduce to the community our current writer-in-residence, Irakli Kakabadze, who we hope will find Ithaca a safe haven and a supportive community during his 2-year residency, allowing him to continue writing and to prepare for a future that will sustain his work as a writer, shaping his times. We will also pay tribute to 2 of our previous writers who have settled in Ithaca following their residencies, and one of our former writers who is no longer in the United States. I've asked 2 other members of the Ithaca City of Asylum Board to make those introductions, and Irakli will introduce the 3 musicians that we are privileged to have with us today. I would now like to introduce Ithaca Common Council member and acting mayor, Maria Coles. Maria is a representative elected from my own perch on South Hill, and I can vouch for her as an effective, attentive custodian of community well-being. I'm delighted that she will deliver the mayor's proclamation of City of Asylum Day in Ithaca.
Before I read the proclamation, I would like to say that I was particularly delighted to be invited to this, and it was a total pleasure to be able to fill in for the mayor, because I've been acutely aware of the fact that although in this country we have not jailed artists since the McCarthy period, we do have a very active censorship program that has really barely let up. This list is probably known to many of you, but some of the many writers whose books have been banned are James Baldwin, William Faulkner, Noam Chomsky, Judy Blume, Alice Walker, Arthur Miller, Walt Whitman, Sylvia Plath, Mark Twain, and many, many others. I would say that there is an added form of censorship in this country that is every bit as cruel, and in certain instances far more cruel, and that is the fact that many of us do not know that over 1 million Iraqis have died in the conflict there. That is a very key form of censorship. In this country, the other problem we face is the total marginalization of writers and artists. In my previous life, I believed myself to be a poet, and I hope that I still am. We are marginalized. We don't matter. If we don't silence ourselves, we are silenced because nobody pays attention. And this is the proclamation from the city of Ithaca. Whereas since 2001, Ithaca City of Asylum has provided sanctuary to writers whose works are repressed, whose lives are threatened, whose languages are endangered, and whose cultures are vanishing. And whereas Ithaca City of Asylum's hosting Oyi Ping, Reza Daneshvar, Sarah Makonza, has enriched the cultural life of the city, and whereas Ithaca City of Asylum, an active participant in the Cities of Refuge North America, has further enriched cultural life in Ithaca with biannual exchange visits, writers in residence from other cities of refuge. And whereas Irakli Kakabadze, Ithaca City of Asylum's newly appointed writer in residence from Georgia, is a multi-talented artist whose poetry, fiction, drama, and music expressing dissent within the government of Georgia has continued in spite of retaliation by that government. And whereas Irakli Kakabadze, an enthusiastic collaborator with other artists who has helped found ongoing projects in music and theater, has dedicated much of his creative energy to conflict resolution and peace initiatives. And whereas Ithaca City of Asylum has forged a unique model of town-gown cooperation by working in partnership with Cornell University, Ithaca College, Wells College, and other regional institutions. And whereas Ithaca City of Asylum annually celebrates Banned Books Week with a presentation of the Week of Dissent writers and musicians, now therefore, I, Maria Coles, acting mayor of the city of Ithaca, do hereby welcome the poet, playwright, fiction writer, and musician, Irakli Kakabadze, to Ithaca and proclaim October 4th, 2008, City of Asylum Day in the city of Ithaca. Thank you very much.
I'm pleased to be able to introduce our fourth writer of residence, Irakli Kakabadze, who comes to us from Georgia, which you all know now, where he was at various times maltreated, imprisoned, questioned and held without cause, and threatened. It is bittersweet to say that Georgia's loss is our gain. Gandhi and other activists for peace and justice have inspired Irakli, who began living out his philosophy of civil disobedience and social activism 20 years ago in 1988. When he was just 19 years old, he was deeply moved by the famous Soviet Georgian dissident Merab Kosova, who only recently had been released from prison. Irakli and others began gathering in circles with other students to oppose the totalitarian system perpetuated by the Soviet government and to call for Georgia's independence. By the following year, Irakli had emerged as a leader of the first and largest youth organization developed to oppose the Soviet youth Komsomol in Georgia. By the time he was 21, Irakli was engaging in televised debates with the head of the Youth Communist League. This was just the beginning of his activist career. In 1991, when Georgia declared independence from the Soviet Union, one of the liberation leaders who was elected legally as president was soon overthrown and forced into exile. As one of the deposed leader's closest allies, Irakli was forced to flee Georgia for the United States or risk imprisonment or death. In 1997, Irakli received his green card and he pursued a master's degree in conflict resolution at George Mason University. And during this time, he wrote 2 books and he wrote and performed performance poetry in English. By the year 2000, Irakli was able to return to a more democratic Georgia, where he headed the first multilingual publication on conflict resolution called The Peace Times. Irakli became increasingly active in developing peaceful strategies to hold the Shevardnadze government accountable for power abuses, corruption, and human rights violations. And in addition to authoring numerous articles, op-eds, and manifestos on the necessity of the democratic reforms in Georgia, he co-founded the Civil Disobedience Committee, composed of artists, writers, and activists dedicated to pressuring the government to institute democratic reform. His group was instrumental in inaugurating the famous Rose Revolution of November 2003, a peaceful movement that initiated a new and, it was hoped, democratic government. Unfortunately, Georgia's new political leadership, led by Dzodzuashvilli, simply continued the tradition of human rights violations, and Irakli, now a TV anchor of a program critical of the new regime, suffered constant threats, was jailed repeatedly without cause, and was harassed despite his and his group's peaceful public protest. Because of these actions, in January of 2007, Irakli and his family were forced to flee Georgia for the last time. We are honored to host Irakli and his family, and it is our intention to support his music and his poetical expression, which he calls creative satyagraha, a concept developed by Gandhi as a weapon of the strong that eschews the use of violence and hatred in any shape or form. Satyagraha is a relentless search for truth and a determination to teach truth through nonviolent means. It literally means holding on to the truth. I'm pleased to present to you Irakli Kakabadze together with his partner Gogi Dzodzuashvilli, whose name I just butchered, and whose music and lyrics are emblematic of this ideal of the creative satyagraha. So let's welcome Irakli.
So I want to thank again the whole community of Ithaca and everyone at Ithaca City of Asylum and Mayor and everyone in this city. Our family has been very blessed that we came here after much of a struggle and much of a personal ordeal going through a number of years in my country. We are starting this program, which is, I'm going to be reading some of different things. And this style is called polyphonic blues and polyphonic song style, which is many voices singing the same tune at the same time. We are going to be starting with a manifesto that really explains how the thing about polyphony has originated. Why do we think that many people can sing together and talk together? Now we're going to do it in different languages, but at the same time. And we apologize, we don't have enough mics, but I think you'll be able to hear us. Ახალი ჰუმანიზმი, პლანეტარული ცნობიერება, ინსპირირებული გლობალური შეგრძნებით სამყაროს განახლების და გადარჩენის გარანტია.
The new humanism, planetary consciousness, inspired by the global worldview that is the only remedy rescuing and renewing human civilization.
The new humanism, progressive, creative, is a non-materialistic initiative that includes a complete demolition of rotten values and systems.
We shall unmask the monsters of power, those who manipulated the most sacred ideals of humanity for centuries. Thus we're establishing pathological ambitions and petty bourgeois obedience.
I like orange juice. It's so good for my calorie intake in the morning times, especially at 9:20 every morning.
We call upon progressive part of the world, citizens to unite under the banner of synergetic coexistence in order to create unlimited space in the third millennium that will be free of post-ambiguity. We shall create this space with our diverse energies and common striving.
დევალვირებული ჰუმანისტური იდეალები ვერ პასუხობენ დროის გამოწვევას. მატერიალიზმი და ფსევდოსულიერება არ პასუხობს ამ გამოწვევას.
The world is looking for harmony. The world is trembling. The world is expecting. Frequent bombings, natural disasters, socio-political fluctuations, and spread of disease are threatening our planet.
According to the new data, we need to consume about 347 more calories a day to be able to sing in many diversified voices.
Terrorists have declared that they love death more than we love life.
Devalued old humanist ideals are not meeting this challenge.
Materialism and pseudo-spirituality are not overcoming this challenge.
We shall love life more than terrorists love death.
We shall truly love life.
We shall love life together with the people of all religious and ethnic origins.
We shall establish new humanism that will be above, that is above corporatist, nationalist, religious, fundamentalist special interests.
21st century humanism is a symphony of rescuing our planet.
New Ode to Joy is a polyphonic anthem where many different voices are joined with love and life.
Many different voices. This is a long life. Mravel Jamieri.
Long life. Bravo Jamieri is an anthem to life.
Long life. Mravel Jamieri is an anthem to life.
Long life. Bravo Jamieri is many voices in one harmony.
Also, I think you got to get good nutritional value to our systems because we lack certain elements in our body and we need to fill them in. And because of Mravel Jamieri, we can get a good nutritional value to our spiritual system. Now, I want to read to you some of the stuff by the poets who either have been here or not been here, but I would like to recite some of those poems and then give you our take on it. I was reading Nabokov's saying when he tried to translate Lolita back into Russian language in 1965, it was very difficult to do that. And so he was saying that English language has its own music and Russian language has its own music. And each and every language is so much original that when the translator starts trying to translate the issues and all these deep feelings that are there in writing, it's impossible to do that unless we bring it anew, our feeling, which there was. And for the first poem, I chose Vladimir Mayakovsky's poem, At the Top of My Voice, which was written at the end of his life when he really understood that all this bureaucracy, all these poets were not really believing so much in the ideals of the revolution, but they were after the power. And I would like to read some excerpts from this poem together with my friends. And it's going to be accompanied by music. And then after that, I would like to read my poem, which is written here since I came here. And I participated in a different revolution, in a so-called democratic revolution in Georgia in 1989 and then 2003. And these are my thoughts about that revolution. So this is indirect translation that we have done. Уважаемые товарищи потомки, роясь в сегодняшнем окаменевшем говне наших дней, изучая потемки, вы, возможно, спросите и обо мне. И, возможно, скажет ваш ученый, кроя эрудиции и вопросов рой, что жил где такой певец кипяченый и ярый враг воды сырой. Профессор, снимите очки, велосипед. Я сам расскажу о времени и о себе. Я ассенизатор и водовоз. Революции мобилизованный, призванный, ушел на фронт из барских садоводств. Поэзии бабы и капризной засадила садик мило. Точка, дачка, води, гладь. Сам садик я садила сам, но буду поливать, что стихами льет из лейки. Кто крапит, набравший в рот кудреватые метейки, мудреватые кудрейки, кто их к черту разберет. Нет, не прорву карантина, мандолинят из-под стен, таратина, таратина, тен-тен-тен-тен-тен-тен-тен. Маяковский, я, Владимир, буду вам писать стихи. И явившись в ЦКК идущих светлых лет над бандой поэтических рвачей и выжиг, я подыму, как большевистский партбилет, все 100 томов моих партийных книжек. Brain drain in Mississippi. Hi, I'm just a quarter hippie. And tornado in Kentucky. Hello, my name is Blunt Irakli. I could go to Greenwich Village. I could have a goofy image, but the power admiration doesn't help imagination. And the way that we are taught doesn't really fit my thought. And I refuse to adopt so long to the class division song. Brain drain in Mississippi, I am just 1/4 hippie, and the power admiration doesn't help imagination. This is song of quarter hippie, old ideas worth of shipping and handling, I guess. I can end my cognac zipping and start just another tripping. I can see the old town gentry, they don't want a gracious entry, they just want to be more rent-free and extinguish poor more gently. I would never dial the number. That would lead to power hunger. I would never ever wonder why I should whip from under. I would like to see lies ripping. I would like to see truth stripping. Brain drain in Mississippi. I am just a quarter hippie. There's a wind in Alabama. Bring me truth from Dalai Lama. Naked truth might be a drama, but I shall go to face it, mama. This old car has just 4 tires. California has big fires. Quarter hippie has his bias, does not want to join the liars. Brain drain in Mississippi. I am just a quarter hippie. I guess this is 1/25 of the 100% according to last data collected by the Georgian Department of Agriculture. Thank you. Here again, I want to go, first of all, I want to thank my wife and my mother who are together with me right now, and my little boy who are talking to me in Georgian. I kind of try to preserve Georgian language, so I would like to read you one of my favorite Georgian poems from one of the greatest Georgian poets whose name is Irakli Kakabadze. And then I would like to follow it up with my interpretation of it. Როგორც ნისლის ნამქერი ჩამავალ მზის ნაფერით, ელვარებდა ნაპირის ამუდამ მხარეში, არ ჩანდა შენაპირი, ვერ ვნახე ვერაფერი. ცივდა მიუსაფარი მდუმარების გარეშე და სიცივის თარეში, სამუდამო მხარეში მხოლოდ სიმწუხარეა. ცეცხლი არქთის თვალებში, წევხარ ცივ სამარეში, შეშლილი სახეების ჩონჩხიანი ტყეებით, უსულდგმულო დღეები, რბიან, მიიჩქარიან, სიზმარიან ჩვენებით, ჩემი ლურჯად ცხენებით, ჩემთან მოესვენებით, ყველანი აქ არიან, იჩქარიან წავები, მე იქ არ მენანება, ცემლით არინამება სამუდამო ბალიში, გაქრავნება, წამება, როგორც ღამის ზმანება, ვით სულის ხმოვანება, ლოცვის სიმხურვალეში, ვით ცეცხლის ხეტიალი, როგორც ბედისტრიალი, ჩქარი გვენვა გრიალით ქრიან ლურჯად ცხენები, ყოველნი არ არიან არც შვება სიზმარია, ხლაკი სამარია შენი განსასვენები, რომელიც ცნობს შენს სახეს, ან ვინ იტყვის შენს სახელს, ვინ გაიგებს შენს ძახილს, ვინ დაიჯერებს, ვერავინ განუგეშებს საოცრების უბეში, სძინავთ ბნელ ხვეულებში გამოუცნებ ქიმერებს, მხოლოდ შუქთა კამარა ვერაფერმა დაფარა, მშრალ რიცხვების ამარა უდაბნოში ხელდება, შეშლილი სახეების ჩონჩხიანი ტყეებით, უსულდგმულო დღეებით ჩნდება და ქვეს კნელდება, მხოლოდ ნისლის თარეში, სამუდამო მხარეში, ზევით თუ სამარეში, წყევლით შევენაჩვები, როგორც ზღვის ხეტიალი, როგორც პედისტრიალი, ჩქარი გვინვა გრიალით, ქრიან ლურჩა ცხენები. I choose to read Washington Post in the morning, even though it is not full, it does not have an angry school. I choose to get up with decaffeinated dreams every morning, then to chew up the Journal of Commerce and make an aphrodisiac comment. I choose to go up to stairs of power, to eat the breakfast of forgotten streets, to see that soon I will be killed by the coming thunder. I choose to threaten the powers to be, even though sometimes I don't even know about it when walking in the metropolitan desert. I choose to be with you and for you, my dear, to see the streets of non-profit hope and admire honorable humanity in Congress. Condominium of free will. It is a good place that is not on Park Avenue. There Bob Dylan will sing, come and sing us a ballad, and we will understand at last we are not born to kill. Condominium of free will is a wonderful place in the palace of disorders, in a penniless idea that not every disturbance is a revolution, and we shall contribute to wildlife fusion. Condominium of free will. Mortgage is not so high over here, and post-existential paper clips are distributed with our orange pens. Condominium of free will. We gotta get used to going up the hill. I want to read one poem by Vladimir Nabokov in Russian, which I found absolutely beautiful Russian poem, which is written in 1920. That's long before he came here. But this man was writing an incredible Russian, and at the same time was writing incredible English, as you know, much better than me. And that was... that poem was dedicated to his tears, basically. And it's called Wake in 1920s, when the Bolsheviks were killing lots of people, and he was there in Crimea still. Сколько могил, ты жестока Россия, Родина, Родина, мы с упованием, сырые, верные, греем последним дыханием, ноги твои ледяные. Хватит ли сил, ты давно ведь ослепла. В сумрачной церкви поют и рыдают, нищие с горбясь у входа. Тебя называют облаком черного пепла. Капает воск, и на пальцах твердеет, стонет старик перед иконой смуглой. Глухо молитва поют, звук тяжелый и круглый, катится, медлит, немеет. Капает воск, как слеза со слезою, плещет кадила пред мертвым, перед гробом. Родина, Родина, ты с полинским сугробом стала во мгле надо мною. Мрак обступил, неужели возможно верить еще? Да, мы верим, в оскорбленные мечтою грядущие мерим. Верим во сердце тревожно, сколько могил, ты жестока, Россия. Слышишь ли, видишь ли, мы с упованием, серые, верные, греем последние дыханием, ноги твои ледяные. Eric, I want to borrow something from you. Domesticated images of once rebellious artists, contaminated water in the thoughts of Baptists. Life did not treat you well, my dear, and you tell me that's why you are here. And you said you just wanted to create, but they surrounded you filled with hate. And they've said, love is impossible, my friend. This is not the most contemporary trend. And you can't create because it's late, and you can't really challenge this awful fate. And my friend, I can understand you when you don't want to go where they want to send you, and silent tears in your eyes are not just yours. There are infinity of us and maybe more. And I think, my friend, why can't we go? Why are we always aiming low? And you say, look at my tears. They mean some hope and not just fear. My eyes can see the land of sorrow, but they can feel the rose tomorrow. I think, my friend, there is no losing. It all depends what we are choosing. Thank you, my friend. You are a music. I found that life is more amusing. This is kind of my take on Nabokov's lyrics. So, in order not to overwhelm you, there is one more piece that I want to read you in Georgian and English. This is actually called the Success Tango. And I always have been bothered with the notion of what does success means. And does that mean that if I am to be successful, I have to be at the expense of the others? And I somehow never liked this word, neither in Georgian nor in English or any other language. I thought that whole concept was kind of weird because we are all very lucky to be born and we're very happy to live, and rather being happy doesn't necessarily mean being successful, and vice versa. And I was actually struggling a lot with that question, which is in all our minds. And I was thinking about somehow deconstructing that notion of whole thing about success. Why is this like that? Why we consider some people who are having distinct success better than others, or maybe it's something that we do to advance, and we think it's something that is better than used to be done. So I call it absolutely success tango. You see if I get, oh, I got it. I think I would like to cheer you up with that. There's a little bit of Tito! Varmateba, harmateba, armateba, gormateba, karmateba, tarmateba, sarmateba, larmateba, sharmateba, gharmateba, shgalmateba, parmateba, charmateba, tsarmateba, volmateba, banmateba, skalmateba, golmateba, zalmateba, ganmarteba. For your information, the word success in Georgian is tsarmateba. So it goes like varmateba, kharmateba, armateba, kvarmateba, charmateba, charmateba, tsarmateba, sarmateba, larmateba, sharmateba, gharmateba, shgalmateba, parmateba, charmateba, tsarmateba, volmateba, banmateba, tsalmateba, balmateba, kvalmateba, zalmateba, galmateba, warmateba, harmateba, aravarmateba. here is the English translation of this stuff. So look at it, my friends. Not to stay penniless, not to be so hopeless. We go out in wilderness and we play different chess. And this means that I success. And this means that you success. And this means that he also success. And this means that we success. To have an access to happiness, we are required to success. And to have lots of good dress, we absolutely do success. If you want to own free press, like Citizen Kane, you got to do success. And to avoid an extra stress, you need to have to do very says. And this means that I proudly so success. And this means that you very proudly so success. And this means that, all of us, lots of people, in fact, absolute majority of our population, according to last data supplied to Statistics Department of Armenian and Georgian and Azerbaijani Home Ministries compiled together, supplied us, we do success. Citizen Kane had no regrets when he chose to do success. And he had big willingness to completely, absolutely, 100% do success. You must give them your address to be able to success. And you should always confess to be able to success. And this means that I success. And this means that you success. This means all of us absolutely are required to success. And nothing else. No pacifiers even. You must forget fairness to be able to success. You shall go to nothing less than to completely success. And there is no tenderness when we completely do success. And there is the scary loneliness where we have to do success. I guess I did my part of sucking. Bail out. Thank you very much.
to Irakli Kakabadze and all his crew for this very entertaining show. Very good. Thank you. Excellent.